Hello everyone, my name is Chance Brunton and welcome back to the StarCraft II Wings of Liberty campaign. In the last mission, we stole an artifact from the Tal'Darim Protoss to add to our collection, but more importantly, we unlocked siege tanks. Now in this mission, we are going to view one of Zeratul memories. Zeratul is an old friend of ours, us being James Raynor, from the original series of StarCraft, and we're going to view his memory to see some kind of dire warning about what's going to happen to the whole universe. We don't really understand what's going on, but he says that he has discovered things of great importance and that we hold some critical key to the universe's survival in our hands. And so he gave us this memory crystal so that we could learn what it is that he knows by seeing the things he's seen. And we'll get 3 Protoss research and 3 Zerg research out of it. Now, I'll just point out real quick before we start that there is a strategic reason for doing this mission now. In the last episode, I was saying that I'd probably want to just do this anyway, just because it's what I'd want to do. It's a little bit different from what we've been doing, but that's all very subjective. The strategic reason why we would want to do this before any other missions comes back to something I said earlier, which is that one strategy for choosing your missions in this game is if a mission is too difficult, you can go to another mission to get upgrades. You can get more credits, more research, more stuff that you can take back to the harder mission to help you complete that. Now, in this case, none of the upgrades we've got before, or will get later, could help with these missions, because these missions will be playing as the Protoss. This is the start of a small series of maybe 4 missions or something like that, where we'll play as the Protoss. And so all our Terran upgrades to bunkers and SCVs and just anything human aren't going to help us here. So it doesn't matter for these missions if we go do other missions first. But we will unlock in these missions Protoss research and Zerg research that can give us special upgrades in the lab that will help us with other missions when we continue playing as Terrans. So although there's no benefit to delaying the Protoss missions, there is a benefit to doing them as soon as possible so that the rewards you get from them can help you with everything else. So I just wanted to share that, a bit of a strategic reasoning as to why we should do this right away as soon as we have the option to play the Protoss missions. So now let's see more details.
Zeratul, what the hell have you gotten yourself into?
Says that like he's always getting in trouble. Well, maybe he is. I don't remember that well.
Friend Raynor, long has it been since we stood together against the Swarm. Since then, I have wandered the void in solitude, seeking an ancient prophecy rumored to foretell the return of the Xel'Naga. My sojourn led me to a remote world known as Ulan, where I discovered fragments of the prophecy, yet I was not the first to find them. It falls to you now, old friend, to relive my memories and believe.
So that ship design is really cool. But also, if he wasn't the first to find them, then who did? And what were they doing with it? Because obviously sparked him to action. Whatever he found, he couldn't wait. It was very important, so he came charging to us with it.
The Zerg Swarm came as was foretold. And the Protoss, firstborn of the gods, rose to fight them.
It's a bit egotistical.
Now, the Xel'Naga that forged us all are returning. But do they come to save? Or to destroy?
And more importantly, how powerful are they? Because if they're really weak, then nobody would care. If they're really strong, then that's a very concerning question. To be honest, I don't think we know all that much about the Xel'Naga. Throughout StarCraft, there have been a few Xel'Naga relics and things left over that are clearly ancient, but knowledge is scarce. So this is very typical for one Protoss to take out a lot of Zerg, but Zeratul is particularly skilled.
I knew you'd find your way here. Eventually.
Your very presence defiles this place, Kerrigan.
Do you hear them, Zeratul? Whispering from the stars. The galaxy will burn with their coming.
Perhaps. But you won't live to see it.
Please. Our petty conflicts mean nothing now. A storm is coming that cannot be stopped. Fitting that we should face oblivion together.
Never!
It's just like a dog.
Cannot be changed. The end comes. And when it finds me, I shall embrace it at last.
The prophecy is uncertain. There is always hope.
I prefer Zeratul's optimism, but Kerrigan has a much better attitude with respect to the fact that their petty conflicts mean nothing. This is kind of a situation where we really need to work together here. But we should always be mindful that there's hope. Protoss units have shields that absorb damage and slowly regenerate when the units are not in combat. Yes. Now, since we're going to be playing as the Protoss, this is going to mean that gameplay is going to change a little bit. This first of the small series of Protoss missions is going to be a little similar to the first mission we played, in the very first episode, where it's going to be just a kind of a walkthrough of how to use the units, not focusing so much on buildings, economy, and production. The next episode, we'll probably see some buildings, economy, and production. But for right now, we're just kind of getting a basic tutorial on how Protoss work. So our main objective, in the upper left-hand corner, we can see bring Zeratul to each Xel'Naga shrine, and
The prophecy was divided into fragments, each kept at separate shrines. I must gather them and depart this world quickly.
so our first objective is to bring Zeratul to each Xel'Naga shrine, and what that's going to do is that is going to allow us to get the different fragments of the prophecy that he needs, one from each shrine. And throughout it all, Zeratul must survive, which is very common for these hero-based missions. a hero unit being a particularly powerful unit. In this case, our hero is Zeratul, and he has to live for story purposes, obviously, so you fail the mission if he dies. Just like in the first mission, we failed if Raynor died, and I believe we did fail that once, because Raynor died. Now, Zeratul has an interesting property that I don't believe we've seen before on any units, which is that he is permanently cloaked. At all times, he is cloaked. Even in combat, he's cloaked. There are things out there which can detect him, and he needs to be careful to avoid their sphere of influence, or their vision, their radius. Because if anything that has the detection property spots him, then everything will be able to see him until he gets out of range. And as the tooltip said, Zeratul also has shields. So if we're careful about ducking and diving him through combat, we don't actually ever have to injure his life. We can just use up shields that will regenerate. Now up here we see some Zerg structures. Well, one Zerg Spinecrawler and a couple Zerg units. But I can just run up here and kill them all, and they won't attack me, because there's nothing here which can detect Zeratul.
This chasm is vast. It is fortunate that I can phase through the shadows to the other side.
So this is a teleportation, a short distance teleportation that Zeratul has. We saw a bit of it in the cinematic. And it has a cooldown of 10 seconds and can teleport Zeratul to a nearby location. So we can cross this gap, for example. Very handy thing. It also allows us to get in and out of combat, in and away from detection, or towards and away from detection, across uncrossable gaps. No end of purposes. Now we have some destructible rocks to get through. We could break them. Zeratul does a lot of damage. We could have also blinked past them, but I just broke them. No real reason I decided to do that.
Spore crawlers can detect my presence. I should stun them with my Void Prison.
Now the blink ability is something that we'll see on other units. The Void Prison is not something we'll see on other units that I can recall. Maybe at some point in the distant future with a different expansion or something. But Void Prison will just make it so that things within its area of effect can't see, can't fire, suppresses ability to detect. So this unit is a Spore Crawler. It's an anti-air unit for the Zerg, but the main thing that we're concerned about is that it's also a detector. So when Zeratul gets within this white circle, which is the same kind of circle that was used to show how far a siege tank can shoot, when Zeratul gets within this circle, that shows how far the Spore Crawler can detect from. So as soon as I get here, Zeratul will be seen and shot at by everything else. So the goal here will be to blink towards them and then try and use Void Prison to make it so that the detector can't see us. And I need to blink closer first because Void Prison has a shorter distance, so I can't cast it from outside of the radius of vision of the Spore Crawler. So blink close, and then make sure it can't see, and then kill it before the Void Prison wears off. Now everything is vulnerable, and we will get throughout this level more complicated scenarios where we'll have to employ similar tactics. Now here's another Ultralisk that's very big, very powerful. Have to be worried about that. It can do a lot of damage. So when it patrols away, we will blink up, use Void Prison, and attack the Spore Crawler. And boom, it goes down, and now everything here is defenseless. So we can kill the Hydralisk, we can kill the Ultralisk, or the Ultralisk can burrow, which I think I've mentioned before, many Zerg units can do. It just hides under the ground. Which is kind of impressive considering how big the Ultralisk is, but...
That Spore Crawler can detect me from across the chasm. It must be destroyed.
Now this is an interesting scenario that it takes use of the terrain. They should be able to see me from there. They can't, because I believe because I'm on slightly higher ground and they have no air support to give them vision, or tall units like a Protoss Colossus. So right now they can't see me, but when I blink down there to actually do some damage, they will be able to see me. So I need to disable the Spore Crawler first. Then blink down, take out the Spore Crawler, and then Zeratul is safe.
Sukdash
And everything else can be killed. By the way, that thing I just killed there was a creep tumor, and it spreads this creep.
That overseer can see through my cloak. I'd best stun it with my void prison before crossing this chasm.
Which is what this ground is. This ground here that's disappearing now because the tumor is dead. It's called creep. Zerg move faster and regenerate health on it. So now this overseer is just mobile detection for the Zerg. It's like a mobile spore crawler, only can't attack anything. And it has a few other properties. But we can use void prism on it, and then we just have to run. Zeratul can only attack things on the ground, so we can't destroy this overseer.
The first fragment of the prophecy. Soon all will be made clear.
Alright, so now you can see...
Why not surrender yourself to oblivion, Zeratul? Wouldn't it be better to end your struggle now than witness the final, agonizing moments of your species?
The foreboding prophecy weighs heavily on my heart. I'd best reach the remaining shrines before she reconsiders letting me live.
So we can see an update to our main objectives in the upper left.
So much for Kerrigan's reprieve.
For Shakuras.
And now we have been to one of 3 shrines.
Greetings, Exalted One. We are here in the service of High Templar Karas. He is nearby.
Your presence is most welcome. Let us keep moving.
So these are stalkers. These are units we'll see a lot. They're one of the main units of the Protoss army.
Permit us to destroy their defenses before we proceed.
And they can blink just like Zeratul can, so they're capable of short-distance teleportation. Now, those Hydralisks are dangerous because they are ranged units, but they're down below. So I think what I can do here is get Zeratul to stun the Overseer, or at least prevent it from detecting, then go down and murder the Hydralisks, and then the Stalkers will be clear to cross without getting shot at. And when they do that, they can take out the Overseer as well, just for good measure.
We are one.
And see, they're capable of short-distance teleportation like that too. So they're very handy. I should be putting these things on hotkeys so that I can more easily manage the army. Oh, there are some Mutalisks, and there's an Ultralisk. This really does not look good. There's a lot of things here trying to kill us. So, wait for a good time in the Mutalisk patrol like now, blink down, and take out the Spore Crawler that has detection. Good.
Honor command.
That enables Zeratul to go clean up everything else on the ground and provide a window of opportunity for the Stalkers to pass. A key to this mission is just to go slowly and carefully through everything, try and minimize losses. So I'm going to see if there's a way that I can take these Mutalisks out one at a time, or pretty close. Yep, because they're slightly out of sync in their patrol patterns, I get to fight them all one at a time, which makes it nice and easy. So I've only gotten their shields damaged, so they are in quite good condition, so we're making good progress.
That patrol of broodlords must be dealt with cautiously, or we will be torn asunder.
Yeah. These are Zerg broodlords. They are terrifying. They have no air attack, so they're vulnerable against air, but they are devastating against anything on the ground. They launch these little broodling things at you that deal a lot of damage, and they're very long range. So they need to be dealt with carefully. Now there's the Overseer, which is not killable by Zeratul, but killable by the Stalkers. As long as that's detecting Zeratul, these broodlords are going to rip him apart. So we have to be very careful about that. And there's also this spore crawler. Zeratul could take it out, but he can't get close to it with the Overseer watching. And there is a cooldown on Void Prison, so I can't stop both of them from detecting Zeratul. I think the first key might be to see if we can get rid of one of the Brood Lords
We move unseen.
without taking on the other.
State thy bidding.
Maybe. Oh, one Stalker's getting heavily damaged.
You
Oh, can we take out the Overseer? Yes! Yes, we can!
I am
Okay, good. Now retreat the Stalkers. One Stalker is nearly dead,
MacLeod.
but he's fine. So now, we took out one Brood Lord as quickly as possible with the Stalkers to minimize the damage they could do. That gave an opening to take out the Overseer. That means that Zeratul, if he's quick, can take out the Spore Crawler so that there's no more detection. That means that the Creep can go and the Spine Crawler can die. By the way, Zerg buildings always have to be built on this creep,
we
including the Spine Crawler.
shadows.
And once that happens, then we can take out the remaining Brood Lord,
Very well.
preferably taking minimal damage.
I will erase.
And notice that this
the
Stalker that was near death, his shields have regenerated, so he's not quite as near death as he was before. That's very handy. Now, what's coming
glory to
next?
the first.
Ambush, I think.
Prepare for an
Yep.
aerial attack. Brace yourselves, my brethren.
So, aerial attack. What can Zeratul do? Zeratul can destroy an Ultralisk. Although he's going to take great damage unless I... there, Void Prism the Overseer. So it's not totally an aerial attack. Oh, we lost a Stalker.
My burden
That's unfortunate.
weigh heavily.
One thing we can do is if Blink is off of cooldown, we can get Stalkers that are under fire taking damage. We can get them out of the way quickly by blinking them back. It's like this guy's at the front line and he takes a bunch of damage, we can get him behind his allies. That's really powerful, but in the thick of a fight, especially with a large army, that's
The
hard.
Queen of Blades built hatcheries here. She seeks to subvert this sacred world. I shall put an end to that plan.
So we managed to coax a couple of Zerg units to come after us. We can maybe shoot them down when they're separated from the group. That works. It means kill an Overseer, navigate our way through. Now, there's opportunities for Zerg and Protoss research in this mission. We have to be careful about that because we want to get that research. And the opportunity in this mission for Zerg research is to destroy various Zerg hatcheries. So this is one hatchery. This is the main building. It's equivalent to our Terran Command Center that produces units, and it's for gathering resources. One difference between it and the Terran Command Center is that all Zerg units are built from the hatchery, not just workers. Because the hatchery spawns little larvae, which you can see down below it, and those larvae are used to
My
spawn
allegiance is yours.
the units. So when this Overseer passes,
We
then
must
we can
not
blink down and take out the remaining Spine Crawler, which is the only other defense of the hatchery besides this. Besides this Mutalisk. One Mutalisk is relatively easy for the Stalkers to take out, and then the Stalkers can take out that Overseer. Now, when this hatchery goes down, we want to run, because whenever a Zerg building's destroyed, it produces these broodlings, and we don't want to take unnecessary damage from them. But when we killed the hatchery, we got one Zerg research, so you can see under the bonus objectives menu in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, we have 1 of 3 research, and now we've arrived at another shrine, so we can get another fragment of the prophecy that we need for the main objective. And plus 1 Protoss research.
The second fragment of the prophecy. My task is nearly complete.
So every fragment of the prophecy we get also gets us research as a bonus.
Your hope is an illusion, old fool.
If you can so easily read my mind, Kerrigan, you'll see that I'll never give up, so long as hope remains. Careful now. Kerrigan has set guards to bar our way. It could be a trap.
Oh yeah, everything's certainly
We
a trap.
should take them out carefully, one at a time, or risk being overwhelmed.
Yeah, so while Zeratul was telling us to take them out carefully one at a time, I took some of them out carefully one at a time.
I am the voice of the eclipse.
Our stalkers got healed at some point. Maybe when we took the shrine or something. I'm not sure when exactly that happened. But, so now Zeratul has dealt with all of the ground forces. The only thing now that's problematic is the air forces. What's the best way to take those out? We need stalkers to shoot at them, but we want to isolate them. Maybe now when there's... Oh my gosh, there's an Ultralisk! Get Zeratul up there! And blind that Overseer. And now focus down the Broodlord, because it's the most dangerous thing there. Maybe Zeratul can take out some Broodlings. We've lost one Stalker. Probably going to lose more Stalkers. Focus some Mutalisks. Blink this Stalker back. I probably could have just run him back, but go ahead and blink him anyway, just because I can.
My burden.
Alright, so now I'll let their shields regenerate a little bit while taking out this Overseer. Alright, we lost a couple of Stalkers, so it's not ideal, but that's still not too terribly bad. This is hard difficulty. We can scout ahead a little bit with Zeratul.
The banelings spew acid when they die. Stalkers, take them out from a distance.
Let's get Zeratul out of the way here and use the Stalkers. Now, this is an interesting use of what's called Blink Micro, which is where you keep the Stalkers safe by blinking them. We can blink the Stalkers over here, and then blink them back across. Come on! Oh. To keep them alive. But they're all gonna die. They are all probably gonna die. Oh, no, no! Get them across! Banelings just move so quickly on the creep. Oh, destroy that creep dimmer so the banelings can't move as quickly. I could have used Zeratul to destroy that sooner so that the creep would recede. But by blinking the Stalkers back and forth and making the banelings run the long way around, we helped minimize the damage. Still not complete. I mean, these Stalkers are very near death, but it's better than nothing. And a good player can do that extremely well, just blinking all kinds of Stalkers all over the place. They could have a whole line of Stalkers at the front line of their army, and do amazing things with moving the injured Stalkers back individually.
The scales will be
So now use Zeratul to wipe out these ground units. One good example of that would be like Grubby, I suppose, who's an old Warcraft 3 player, but now a StarCraft II player, and he does some amazing Stalker micro to keep, dozens of Stalkers alive by blinking them back as they're taking rapid damage from vast amounts of enemies. Oh.
Kill them before they can take root and attack.
You address me?
I will erase the demon.
Shozak, state that. You address me?
Okay, so we weren't able to kill all the spine crawlers, but we were able to kill some of them. Now we can use Zeratul to mop up the rest.
The firstborn.
If we're very careful by making sure that Overseer can't see us. Yes!
High Templar Karas is nearby. The voice of the eclipse.
Okay, so let's go meet this High Templar Karas. Let's kill that thing just for good measure. Alright, other side of these rocks.
Oh. Antaro Tassadar, Prelate Zeratul. I am High Templar Karas. My force tracked the Queen of Blades to this world, yet we know not what she seeks.
Pretty sure I missed a hatchery.
Kerrigan and I were both drawn here to uncover an ancient prophecy. With your aid, I pray we can discover it before her.
It is an honor, Great One. Lead on.
Okay, so now Karis's forces are about to do battle, and we just have these stalkers.
You address me?
Get up into the fray to try and minimize damage to Karis's forces. Oh, but we want to take as little damage as possible ourselves.
We must
Okay.
not hesitate.
Now, can you wait? Can you wait?
Zeratul, can you destroy the airborne Zerg?
Yes, but I wish you would wait to go forward until we wiped out the ground defenses. I mean, just now loads of zealots are just dying for really no apparent reason. Oh, focus the Nidus Worm!
These Nidus worms must be destroyed, or the Zerg reinforcements will overwhelm us. Stalkers,
Yep, well, they were
take
destroyed.
the high ground and support our brethren.
Already did that. And then I decided to leave the high ground because I didn't have the range.
Zeratul has destroyed their worms. Press on.
Oh, could I have waited before taking that to go back? Oh, maybe.
The final piece of the prophecy. It speaks of one who shall break the cycle of the gods.
Most ominous. But if the Queen of Blades seeks this prophecy, we must keep it from her.
Can't argue with him there.
The rest is obscured. What?
You might peel away the prophecy's layers, Zeratul, but you cannot outrun the doom that awaits us all.
But he can try.
We cannot prevail against so many.
I will stand against the Queen of Blades while you escape with the fragments.
I will not abandon you.
The prophecy is more important than either of us. Reveal its secrets, Zeratul. The future rests on it.
Your sacrifice will not be forgotten, brother.
Okay, now it is certainly too late to go
In the
back and get
service of
anything.
I must get to the Void Seeker before the Zerg overwhelm me and the prophecy is lost.
Yep. So now,
Honor, command.
it's an all-out dash to escape as Zerg Nidus worms are popping up and the Zerg are gonna do chase, and Karas is gonna sacrifice himself to buy us what time we need.
Now, I shall become one with the Kala.
And we've just gotta book it and try and get to Zeratul's ship. Remember, Zeratul must not die.
Honor, command.
Okay. Only 1 out of 3.
I cannot decipher the fragments on my own, yet I know who might interpret them. The preservers of Zakul. If they cannot, I fear this entire universe will burn.
Was not very successful at getting Zerg research. Have to go back for that if I want it. Which I can do. I can replay the mission to get that research. Only 1 out of 3 hatcheries destroyed. I missed the other 2. So that's unfortunate. But we got the pieces of the prophecy. Even though we still need to continue to interpret them and so forth. But now that will be very useful in future in helping us figure out what to do. Hyperion Lab. 1532 shipboard time. Oh, I thought that was the start of a cutscene. So now we can go around and talk to people after the mission's done before we delve into another mission. Have a little bit of time to kick back and relax. See what everyone has to say.
Doc, before you start asking.
You were staring at that Protoss device for a very long time. Are you sure?
Well, now you mention it, I could use a drink. Or 2. Maybe what I saw would make more sense if I was drunk.
What was it, Jim?
An old friend of mine. Looking for the end of the world.
And he found it. Which is the most disturbing part. So we don't have any more credits, and we shouldn't have any more upgrades available. We could upgrade something if we had money, but we don't. That's fine. Like I said, the upgrades won't really help us until we get back to Terra missions, and there's a great benefit to doing all the Protoss missions first so that we can get more research. For that matter, actually, how do we stand on the research front real quick before we talk to additional people? We got some more Protoss research, one more Zerg, but we're still not at a next upgrade. We're a bit closer, but still not at a next upgrade level yet. Okay, so go back to the cantina, and we can talk to Tychus, and we can view the news.
How did you become such good buddies with those freaky Protoss? All I hear is they kill Terrans like you and me on sight.
Some of them would. But some others would fight to the death protecting people like us. I helped them defend their homeworld from the Zerg during the First War. When Kerrigan came back leading the swarm, I helped him out again. They're real big on loyalty.
Damn, Jimmy. Almost sounds like you respect them.
I wouldn't expect you to understand, Tychus.
We have a very special guest today, Crown Prince Valerian. Thank you so much for joining us, Highness.
Thank you, Kate. It's wonderful to be here.
Let me get right to the question on everyone's mind. Is there anyone special in your life right now?
Truth be told, Kate, I've had a crush on you for many years.
Oh, stop.
But in all seriousness, with the Zerg invasion, there's little time for such things. I've been studying military tactics under General Warfield, and whatever spare time I have is devoted to statecraft. It's my goal to be the best emperor our people could ask for. When the time comes, of course.
Wonderful. Now I've got 2 of them to worry about.
I've just noticed that he's spent all his time dedicated to statecraft. Sounded very much like StarCraft. But okay, so now let's look at the bridge. So that's the Crown Prince Valerian. He will inherit the Dominion should Mengsk die. And let's see what Horner has to say.
How long was I down in the lab, Matt?
You've been gone for hours, sir. You've been in the lab all that time?
I used the Eon crystal Zeratul gave me. I'd swear it only lasted a few minutes. So vivid. Zeratul's been searching for a Xel'Naga prophecy about the end of the universe. There's more. I just haven't got to it yet.
Yeah. And then our options in the star map won't have changed because nothing there has updated. Everything's been internal to the ship. So that's not going to change for another couple of episodes because we'll be doing the Protoss series of episodes first. So let's take a brief look at what the next mission will be.
I gathered allies, and we made our way to the forbidden archive world of Zakul. There, a triumvirate of mystic preservers awaited us, and in the shadows, something else was watching and waiting.
Okay, so we have the prophecy. We don't understand the prophecy, but we're going to see the preservers on Zakul in the next episode so that we can get them to interpret the prophecy and tell us what does it all mean. But that will be in the next episode because we're all out of time. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.
Oh look, by repeatedly spam clicking everything, I get monkeys.
I'm pretty sure that there's a monster back there.
Oh, he's right there! Oh, God, I ran the wrong way! I ran the wrong way!
Oh. That could have saved me about 100 lives right now. Oh.